Okay. So the primary trig ratios, you're gonna hear me say that word too often. So these are ratios that we use when we are solving for either sides or angles in a right angle triangle. These are only used if we have a right angle triangles. Okay? Only. So the primary trig ratios are basically sine, cosine, and tan. We're gonna discover these as we go all together. Now remember that you need to be able to label your triangle properly in order for you to be able to use these primary trig ratios properly. If you don't know how to label your triangle, your primary trig ratios are going to be incorrect. Okay? So remember that first I'm going to have to look at the angle of focus, and then I'm going to have to label my hypotenuse, opposite, and adjacent properly. Hypotenuse is the one across from the 90, opposite is the one that's across from your angle of focus, and then the adjacent is the third side. Are we okay with that? Now, here's what we're gonna do. So we have two triangles here. One triangle with angle 37 and sides 3, 5, and 4. The other triangle has also angle 37 with sides 9, 15, and 12. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna label our triangle. Okay? This is my angle of focus here. So where is my opposite, hypotenuse, and adjacent?
3/4.
What's my opposite?
3.
That's right. So 3 centimeter is my opposite because that's the one across from the 37 degrees. Which one is my hypotenuse?
5 centimeters.
So hypotenuse is the 5 centimeter, and that's because that's the one that's across from the 90 degree. Okay? What do I have left? The adjacent, and it goes with the third side. Okay? Again, if I'm looking at my other triangle, this is my angle of focus. 9 centimeter is my opposite. This is going to be my hypotenuse. And then I'm left with the adjacent at 12 centimeters. Now they're asking you to go with opposite over hypotenuse, so to find the opposite over the hypotenuse in triangle ABC. So in triangle ABC, my opposite is 3 centimeter, yes? And my hypotenuse is?
4 centimeters.
What's my hypotenuse?
5.
5. So what's 3 divided by 5? 0.6, is it 666 or just 0.6?
6.
Just 6,
Yeah,
exactly. Okay. Now let's do the same thing for x, y, z. So you want to find the opposite over the hypotenuse for triangle x, y, z. So the opposite is 9, and the hypotenuse is 50. So it's going to be 9 divided by 15.
0.6.
And that equals to 0.6. Now, they want you to find sine angle A or angle X, right? Angle A is equal to 37 and angle X is equal to 37, right? So on the calculator, you're gonna get sine, you're gonna hit the the button sign, and then 37. You don't put shift, you just put sign 37. What do you get when you do that? 0.60, so we're gonna write as 0.6. So on the calculator, if I do sine 37, I'm going to get 0.6. Okay? So for your phone, you're gonna have to do 37, then you're gonna hit sine. Now, and then we're gonna do adjacent over hypotenuse for triangle ABC. So triangle ABC, what's your adjacent?
4.
4, and your hypotenuse is 5. What's 4 over 5?
0.8.
We're gonna do the same thing, but for triangle XYZ. So what is my adjacent? In triangle
12.
XYZ, what's my
12.
adjacent? 12 over
9.
15, which is 0. Now on the calculator, you're gonna do cosine 37. What do you get when you do cosine 37?
0.8.
Because it's 0.71.
9.
9. So you're gonna have to round up to 0.8. Okay, now we're gonna do the opposite over the adjacent. What do you get? So my opposite for triangle ABC is 3. And then my adjacent is 4.
0.75.
So that's 0.75. And then for triangle XYZ, it's going to be 9 over 12, which is also 0.75. Now if you do tan 37, what do you get? 0.7. So, if you notice anything,
The angle is the same on the side.
so the angle, when I do sine of the angle, it gives me the same answer as doing opposite over hypotenuse, right? So that answer matches the answer when I do the opposite over the hypotenuse, right? So that means sine A is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse in a right angle triangle. How about cosine? What does it match?
Adjacent over hypotenuse.
So cosine A matched the adjacent over the hypotenuse. So the formula for cosine A is adjacent over hypotenuse. And then lastly, tan A matched the opposite over the adjacent, right? So that tells you that the formula for tan is opposite over adjacent. No matter how big the triangles are, as long as you have the same angle, you're gonna find that ratio happening again and again and again. Okay? As long as you have angle 37, you're gonna find the same answer. So, this tells you that the formulas that we're going to be using are the following. Sine of the angle theta is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse. Cosine of the angle theta is equal to adjacent over the hypotenuse. And tangent of the angle theta is equal to opposite over adjacent. So they came up with this acronym to help you remember these formulas. And the acronym is SOHCAHTOA. Okay, you guys probably have heard this acronym before. SOHCAHTOA. What does SOHCAHTOA represent? It represents the following. So if you're looking at sine, sine starts with the letter S. And it's opposite over hypotenuse. So it's sine, opposite hypotenuse. Ka represents the C in the cosine, adjacent over hypotenuse. Toa, tangent, opposite over adjacent. Okay? So this is where the acronym SOHCAHTOA comes from. Okay? So you write it down and then you think about, okay, I have the opposite and the adjacent, then I'm going to have to use tan. I have the adjacent and the hypotenuse, then I'm going to have to use cosine. So it's things that for you to know which formula you're going to use. So, if you know a side and an angle in a right angle triangle,
Is this crucial? Okay, stay for this, but as soon as you have a free moment, come and see me.
if you know a side and an angle, then you can use, in a right angle triangle, then you can use the primary trig ratio SOHCAHTOA. Okay? Let's look at this example. So, I have a right angle triangle. You guys agree? It's a right angle triangle because it gives me the sine right here. And I know an angle, which is angle 65, and I know a side. What side is this with respect to the angle?
Opposite.
This is the opposite. And then it's asking me to solve for the hypotenuse because that's why they gave me the letter X across at this point. So that means I have to solve for that side. Okay? So I know the opposite and I'm looking for the hypotenuse. So if you're looking at SOHCAHTOA, which one deals with opposite and hypotenuse?
Sine.
Sine. So this is what you have to do. You have to go and write sine of the angle. Always sine and cosine and tan, they come with an angle. Okay? You can't write them by themselves. So you write sine 65 equals to, and the formula is opposite over hypotenuse. Do I know my opposite?
Yeah.
What is it? 50. So it's opposite. Do I know the hypotenuse?
Yeah.
No, it's the letter X. So, what's sine 65? Can you find out on the calculator? Your point. So this one you're gonna have to write to 4 decimal place to be accurate. 0.906.
3.
What's after the 3?
0.
Okay, so we leave that's 3 equals to 15 over X. How would you solve for that x? That's right. Okay, so in order to solve for my x, what I say to my students is the best way to visualize this is you want to replace the x and that. So you're going to switch places. Okay, so that becomes x equals to 15 over 0.9063. And when you get 15 divided by 0.9063, what do you get?
16.55.
16.55.
Yeah.
Okay.
0.
So because this is a side length, I'm looking for a side length, it has to be to one decimal place. So I write it as 16.6. And it's going to be in centimeter because that's a side length. Okay? So what I did here is, first of all, I labeled my triangle with the hypotenuse and the adjacent and whatever, right? I labeled my triangle. Then I decided what ratio do I need to use, sine, cosine, or tan, according to what I know and what's given to me and what I'm looking for. Then I solved. Yes, you're going to be in the 120, so go down the hall to the left. Okay. Now let's look at the second triangle. First question you're going to ask yourself, is it a right angle triangle? Yes, it is. So I'm going to label my triangle according to the angle of interest or the angle of focus. So the angle of focus is 32 degrees. Where is my opposite? Where is my adjacent? Where is my hypotenuse? So out of this, I know that this is going to be the opposite. So x is my opposite. And I know my adjacent, which is 6 centimeters. So which one of these three deals with opposite and adjacent?
Cosine.
Cosine deals with opposite and adjacent? Tan.
10.
Tan is the one that has O and A with it. Okay? So, tan, angle 32 equals to, do I know the opposite? No. The opposite is my letter X. Do I know my adjacent? What is it? So I'm going to replace A with 6. What's tan 32? You have to find it 4 decimal place for me. 0.6.
249.
6249. What's after the
Because
line?
I round it up to
Okay. What's after the 8?
6.
Equals x over 6. How can I isolate for that x? Multiply, right? Because basically I want to isolate for this. I have division by 6. To get rid of that division by 6, I have to multiply by 6. Okay? Opposite operation. So that's going to be 0.6249 and then multiplied by the 6. What does that do? Okay, so it's going to be 3.7, right? Because since after the 7 I have a 4, then I keep it the same. And it's going to be in centimeter, and that equals to